Okay, I'm gonna do a quick video. You may not have noticed, but we put the floor down for the kids, actually for Zeta, which is a soft, I didn't want to show my toes, which is a foam floor because the kitchen floor is hard and we didn't want Zeta to pop her head. But I wanted to talk about the crime in the Puget Sound area because people seem to have this false sense of idea of Tacoma still, because it still lives up to that past situation. I can be in any part of Tacoma and feel totally safe, to be honest with you. There are certain pockets that are kind of but there's a lot of pockets, big pockets in Seattle that are exactly the same way. Bellevue, nuts. I mean, come on, there's nothing like that in Bellevue. And there's other places. You'll be surprised looking at the newspaper a while back to talk about South King County having more violence and more murder per capita than either Seattle or Tacoma. So if you look at places like Burien, which is South King County Federal Way, they have less murders overall. But when you add up the amount of murders versus population, it's actually a lot higher than in either Seattle or Tacoma. Yeah, Seattle also has more murders by the numbers, than Tacoma. But when you add up the population difference, Tacoma edges Seattle out by a little bit. Both cities, Seattle and Tacoma, has had 2 murders this year. Seattle, I'm not sure what the murders were about. In Tacoma, I just looked this up for someone who asked the question. And in Tacoma, the 2 murders happened at the very first part of the year here, and so far that's been the only 2, and it was due to drug-related stuff. So apparently, a house full of people, an individual was doing drugs, basically had hallucinations, and he was thinking that he was told to kill someone, so he was starting to go around and killing the people in the house. So there was 2 people that were killed as a result of that. Other than that, I am not aware of anyone else, being murdered here in Tacoma in 2017. Now, obviously, 1 is too many people to be murdered, to be honest with you. But for a city of its size, I'm from Bowling Green, Kentucky. Bowling Green, Kentucky, so far, I think has had like 6 or 7 murders this year, and it's a town of 60,000 people. It normally has 1, maybe 2 a year, if any. So that should give you some sort of an idea. Tacoma is not nearly as violent as people think, but some of these surrounding areas that people are trying to go to, they don't really realize that, yeah, they have a past too. They have a history as well. It's not talked about as much. And they also have some crime issues. Now, you're not going to be crime free. I don't care if you go to Everett, down to Olympia, all the way over to Issaquah and Bellevue. There's crime in every single city. You're going to have it. But I think that it gets overinflated in Tacoma, and some people do it on purpose. It's kind of like the Seattle effect, right? Locals will say it rains all the time here. You don't want to come because, for one, a lot of people don't like all of the people that are coming here. It's just too many people. It's changing the way of life. And people also say the same thing about Tacoma. It's so violent because, again, less people, house prices don't have to go up as quickly, and people kind of avoid the area. Those are just kind of my theories, at least. But no, as far as crime and things like that, not really a concern. There are pockets of Tacoma, such as this one, that are much, much more safer than others. And then you have some that are in between and some that maybe not so much. But that's every city that you come across. I will say that if you're going to look at some of these surrounding cities, Kent, Des Moines, Burien, which is one of those other ones that I'd mentioned, Federal Way, all of those places, I would check and look at the crime statistics, look up the information, see for yourself what you would think about. Some of these areas may not be, people talk about South Seattle as, kind of rough. Really, South Seattle has a lot of diversity and a lot of immigrants, so people typically stereotype. But some of these other areas have always kind of had some issues. So, not saying all of Federal Way is that way or all of Burien is that way, But don't go into it thinking that these places are safe havens, because it may not always be the case. Same thing with Puyallup. Puyallup's a really nice area, but it also has crime issues too. I shouldn't say issues, it has crime there as well that you would want to take notice of. So that's pretty much it. Very quick video. Just wanted to kind of say that, people ask me all the time, like, what's a safe area? What's a place as far as diversity? If you're looking for diversity in terms of just economics, in terms of attitude, in terms of race, in terms of a lot of things, Tacoma is pretty much going to be it. If you're talking affordability, you're not going to really get that any other place other than Seattle and Tacoma. And even Tacoma, you get it more so than you do in Seattle. And I'll do a video about how overly accepting Tacoma is later. But that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video, answered some questions for you, and until next time, I will see you. Take care.